Good evening and welcome to the launch of the 17th season of New York Theater Barn's award-winning New York series. I'm Joe Barros and I'm the Artistic Director of New York Theater Barn.
Line producer of the New York series.
Tonight we are live with an intimate audience here at the Five Angels Theater, home of the 52nd Street Project in Midtown in New York City, plus a virtual global audience. Hi everybody at home.
Hi. In our commitment to accessibility and inclusion, tonight's presentation includes ASL interpreters, open captioning from our friends at Inclusive Communication Services. Tonight's ASL interpreters are Mark W. and Diego N. And the card captioner is Stan Sakai. Support for open captioning is provided in part by TDN.
For the past 17 years, New York Theater Barn has created an inclusive home for original culture-shifting musicals during incubation. Since 2007, we've been providing space, funding, and a safe opportunity to experiment in front of live audiences, often for the first time.
For artists, the support of New York Theater Barn means investment in the process. For audiences, we offer a glimpse inside the blueprint of an original musical being developed in real time. We serve underrepresented artists and audiences in our commitment to anti-racist, equity, anti-ableist, and anti-oppression ideologies.
We believe that there's no formula for musical theater except authenticity. In our last season, where we celebrated 16 years, we had the opportunity to support 98 artists, 30 writers, 22 original musicals, 21 administrators, 6 choreographers, 3 concept albums, and a global audience, and we're still standing.
Wow.
Our imprint of Broadway Records, Theater Barn Records, recently released 3 albums of original musicals in development. They include Xena Warrior Musical, featuring Jen Colella, L. Morgan Lee, Taylor Iman Jones, Ren Rivera, and Jessie MacBeth, who is featured in tonight's presentation. And we're happy to have one of the writers, Luce, here with us tonight. Sueños, our American musical, featuring Lene Hanau, Robbie Hager, and Chris Carrasco, and the New Musicals mixtape, featuring Nasia Thomas, performing from the Belle of Tombstone. Also, one of the writers is here with us tonight, Sheila Wright, who wrote that. Albums are available wherever you stream music, and through a collaboration with the Latinx Musical Theater Lab, this year we'll be releasing 2 albums that feature stories written for, by, and with Latinx communities.
And join us next month on April 17th for the launch of the 11th season of our Choreography Lab, the only platform where writers and choreographers collaborate on movement for original musicals during incubation.
Tonight we'll take you inside the blueprint of 2 original musicals currently in development. We'll present a short excerpt of each show, followed by a conversation with the writers.
Yeah. We found that speaking in community with musical theater writers and their creative teams inevitably deepens the understanding of what a musical is and can be.
And celebrates the unique process that goes into creating each original story. And just like an original musical, I changed that part of the script up on Harmony during the rehearsal. So you're the first to see that change. Just like a new musical. Our first musical tonight is Wunderkind. Wunderkind has book, music, and lyrics by Oliver Hauser.
Set in a Jewish American family in the early 20th century, Wunderkind explores a young piano prodigy's journey to break free of his father's crippling expectations and reclaim his creative voice. A timeless story of forgiveness and redemption with a rhapsodic score. Wunderkind expresses the universal theme of becoming who we are. Tonight marks the first time that Wunderkind will be presented publicly. The presentation has music direction by Davey Maglione. The cast includes Stephen Allen Black, Jake Hamilton, Jessie MacBeth, Ruth Sabath, Noah Wolfe, and James Zebooker.
Enjoy the presentation.
Wunderkind, a musical takes up the theme on a scratch mahogany upright piano. He wears a yarmulke and tallis, a Jewish prayer shawl under his vest. Abe's playing is melancholy, wistful. Another light appears on young Hans. He watches his father from a distance.
Papa, can I play?
Come. Put your hands like this. Your fingers round. Good.
Abe plays the first phrase of the theme. Hans copies him an octave above.
Yes.
Abe plays the second phrase. Hans copies him again, then continues to play the rest of the theme without his father's instructions.
Yes, that's it.
Hans continues playing. Abe gets off the bench so Hans can take up the keyboard.
Miriam, come. Let's go.
What is it?
How did you do that, my boy?
I listened.
Oh, that was very good. Very good. Get ready for bed. I must talk with your mother.
Abe convinces Miriam to move their family to America, both to escape the growing threat of Russian pogroms and to give Hans, their son, the possibility of life as a concert pianist. We transition to the family's New York tenement apartment 12 years later. It's 1923, and 18-year-old Hans is a rising piano star. Over the course of his first act, we see Hans navigate his controlling father, who pushes Hans great lengths to succeed, all while Hans develops a secret relationship with his piano teacher's daughter, Esther. Esther discovers Hans is a closeted composer. Hans says his father insists that he focus on playing and leave composing to the greats. But Esther is the first person to encourage Hans to write his own music. When Abe finds out about Hans and Esther's relationship, he forbids Hans to see or speak with Esther ever again, telling Hans he must choose between her and the piano. Hans obeys his father's wishes and leaves Esther. Tensions rise and come to a head when, at the end of Act 1, Hans freezes on stage during his debut at Carnegie Hall, ruining the opportunity meant to catapult him into stardom. Hans blames his father for overpressuring him and quits the piano. Furious and devastated, Abe disowns his son. Now, Act 2. 5 years later, Hans and Esther have raised their own family in the country. Hans has the trappings of a happy life, but he's given up music, and something is missing. One day, Hans' estranged brother, Chaim, arrives and begs Hans to return to his music career. Before he leaves, Chaim tells Hans their father is dying. Inspired by his brother's news and visit, Hans goes to the piano. He plays.
Who am I to tell my story? Who am I to share the song in my heart? Who am I to make a single contribution, even just one revolution, before I die? Who am I? Who am I? Has it all been written for me? Or is it waiting for me to start? And for whom have I been waiting, been searching, hesitating, instead of doing my part and making my art, making the music that is mine, the music of my soul, the music that can find me and remind me I am whole, the music that can heal, that tells me I'll be fine, music that can show me where I lead. It's time I claimed as my own, and only I can save it. It's my path, so I'll pave it, trusting in what I've always known, and how the music's grown. The music that is mine, the music that takes flight, the music I can turn to hold me through the night, the music that is home, that beckons like a sign, music that can mother me and father me with melodies that bother me until I know I've written every line. I'll find the music. I need the music.
Hans plays.
All the laughter and the sorrow will be symphonies tomorrow. I will take it all and make it all divine. I'll write the music, I'll play the music, I'll live the music that is mine.
A transition. Hans goes to his childhood home for the first time in 6 years. His father, Abe, lies on a bed in the living room. Hans connects with his mother and his brother Chaim. Then Hans goes to his father. Father, there's someone here to see you.
Who is it?
Hello, Papa.
Who's that?
It is your son.
I have only one son.
And I have only one father.
So, he's come back. The failure.
I am not a failure. I am a happy man. I lead a happy life.
How can you be happy?
I'm living my dream.
You gave up on your dream.
And what of your dream?
My dream was for you.
Tell the truth, Papa. We don't have much time left. Papa. Tell Mother I love her. I'll see you soon.
I was a boy. My father brought home a piano.
What is that, Papa?
This, my boy, is our door to another world.
It was something I had never seen.
To think, the first Jewish family in our village to own one.
Still, I knew that I would never be the same.
Can I try?
Come, sit with me.
Once I touched the keys, and even though the cold blew through the window,
Keep your fingers wrapped, like this.
even though the rain leaked from the sill, the moment I played middle C, something new came over me, and suddenly everything was still, and there was harmony, the world in perfect grace, and I had found a place where I was free. Such harmony, the music in my hand, I knew I
come home, and I will teach you. Finally, there'll be music in our home.
I practiced every moment I was able. I couldn't tear myself away. Chopin, Tchaikovsky were my closest of companions. No one understood me more than they.
Have you heard? There's talk of raids in Dresden. Russian soldiers pillaging.
Dresden is far. We're safe here in Cagney. It will never happen here.
How can you be so sure?
Papa, I'm ready for my lesson.
Who shall we revel in today?
And even if the future was uncertain, even if it seemed danger was near, in the music there was beauty, there was balance, everything was radiant and clear. There was a harmony, each pain its would resolve, each problem I could solve, wrong notes made right. One harmony, a language of my own, a feeling I was home, and I'd be all right.
Papa? Papa? Oh, thank goodness you're all right. What is it, Mama? Mama, where is Papa?
Papa is gone.
Gone?
The soldiers came. Russian soldiers.
Where is Papa?
It'll be all right. I promise. It'll be all right.
A light illuminates young Abe's piano, which has been destroyed. Young Abe runs to it. We see the striking image of Abe's decimated childhood piano in a pin spot.
No more music, no more sound, just the pounding of the heartbeat in my head. No more music to be found. It's all over and everything is dead. For things change, but some things never change. That's how things are. The world is cruel, and things they die. But then one day, there was you.
Young Hans enters, a flashback to the prologue.
Papa, can I play?
And you played. And there was harmony, a father and his son, a dream I thought was done had been revived. Such harmony, the music I once knew, and how I need. But then you, and when you left, so did the music too. Gone was the harmony. I'm so sorry.
Hans offers his father water.
Come, Papa.
Come where?
To the piano.
I cannot leave this bed.
I will help you.
It's too late for me. I'm too old. I'm too sick.
Be strong, Papa.
Abe takes Hans' hand. Hans lifts him up and brings him to the piano. They sit on the bench together.
Play with me. Do you remember?
Hans plays.
It has been so long. I thought I had forgotten.
Your hands will remember.
No, I cannot.
For me, Papa. way he would revel in the sound of an upright coming to life with Chopin or Brahms. How he could rhapsodize on the contours of a melody by Rachmaninoff. My father loved the music. I will always be eternally grateful that he has given that gift to me.
We transition to the final scene with Hans and his family. We see Hans penning his own song, the grace his father couldn't. In the final song, Hans sets off to pursue his new career as a composer. In the last tableau, Hans lifts his baton in front of an orchestra at Carnegie Hall, then brings it down on the final chord of his first symphony.
Essentially a musical about the power of healing, the show presents the philosophy that the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. I've also had the privilege of getting to explore material from all of her shows. She Reached for Heaven at XY with my students at the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. A 5, 6, 7, 8! Back to XY. Incredibly personal and semi-autobiographical, XY is a musical with an intersex protagonist who is navigating his first romantic relationship while he's haunted by the memories of his 11-year-old female-presenting self. Perhaps it's even the first work of its kind. Oliver, can you speak specifically to what the term intersex means for those who don't know?
Yes, I can. Intersex refers to anybody whose physical anatomy or chromosomes don't align with the stereotypical definition of a male or female body. And it's actually quite common. It's 1.7% of the population, which is about the same number of folks who have red hair. And pretty miraculously, I started writing XY over a decade ago, and it wasn't 5 years, till 5 years working on the piece, that I discovered a anatomical variation I was born with and received surgery for in infancy is on the intersex spectrum. And it wasn't until 3 years ago that I came out publicly and realized I'd been writing a musical about my own life. So that's a really personal piece, and I'm really excited to get to share it.
So Oliver, you are living proof that musicals are about us and that musicals are you.
So Oliver, Wunderkind began his creative journey just a few weeks ago when you took to pen and paper at the Johnny Mercer Foundation Writers Grove at Goodspeed Musicals. When did you first get the idea to build this world, and how did the experience at Goodspeed ignite the event of this musical?
Yeah, great question. So I got the idea to write the show about 2 years ago, and I've been outlining it for that amount of time. But then last month I went to the Goodspeed Musicals Writers Grove, which is an incredible opportunity for writers. I was like holed up in a house alone, but surrounded by incredible other writing teams, all working on their own musicals. And it was the first time I got to really start writing this show in earnest. And most of what you all just saw tonight, I wrote last month at Goodspeed. So it was incredibly productive, and just great to immerse myself in the world of the show.
Last month isn't like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So what was it like to see it for the first time? So we kind of lied to you. It was done in a living room, but this is the first time publicly.
Yeah.
So what was it like hearing it with professional actors in New York?
Yeah, it was incredible. I felt like my soul left my body. It was pretty unbelievable. You know, it's deeply meaningful to get to see my work, you know, presented so beautifully, and such an incredible cast. And it's inspiring. It's, you know, this is a show I'm still writing. So much of it isn't written yet, so to get to see it on stage tonight and have you all respond to it, to feel that, you know, it inspires me to keep going.
Yeah, it was incredibly emotional in that moment where he talks about the door to another world, and we're the only Jewish family that has access to this thing, and just the power of music. The power of music and its culture, actually, as well. Speaking of this community, your show centers a Jewish narrative. Why do you believe that now is an important time to lift up the Jewish community?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the first thing I'll say is I'm somebody who takes a humanitarian stance on any crisis. So my heart is with all the, Jewish people around the world right now who are facing such increasing anti-Semitism and fear, as well as, the Palestinian people who are senselessly losing their lives. And I've been very interested in examining my relationship to Judaism and how my ancestry has shaped me. And I actually learned last year for the first time that my great-grandfather was murdered in Eastern Europe, probably because he was Jewish. And obviously the Jewish people have experienced so much victimization and displacement and persecution over the centuries. And I've really come to see that trauma lives in my own body, and that I've been carrying that. And so I wanted to tell a story about somebody who faces their own intergenerational trauma and faces it and feels it and heals it and moves forward. Because I think that's kind of what we're all here to do as human beings, is to, kind of look at the stuff we've been handed by our ancestors and kind of work with it and kind of release it so we can create a better future. So I hope that this show will speak not just to the Jewish community, but to, all people from all cultures, because we all have baggage, right? We all have our stuff that's gotten handed down for so long. And I think when we can feel that, face it, transform it, that's the kind of hope that we have to create a better, more harmonious future. So that's my goal with this piece.
Answer. So I think we all want to know, Oliver, what's next for Wunderkind? And when can we expect to see more of the show?
That's great. Well, you're giving me a great opportunity to give an awesome plug, because I'm doing a concert at 54 Below on May 1st, which is going to feature Kate Baldwin and a number of other great special guests and a live band. And I'll be doing music from this show and all my shows. So that'll be it's going to be special. I'm really excited for that. So I'd love to see you all there if you can make it. And this isn't for Wunderkind, but She Reached for Heaven, which you mentioned, we're doing at Soma Stage in New Jersey on June 1st and 2nd. So I'm really excited for that too. But after that, which is in June, I can't wait to finish writing the first draft of this piece. Which one I can only share more widely, so stay tuned.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right along.
Our second musical tonight is Spectrum. Spectrum has book, music, and lyrics by Stephanie L. Carlin. Matthew, a young man on the autism spectrum, is told he needs to move out of his parents' place. He finds the quietest spot with no stimulation whatsoever, a gay bar. Set in 1995, Spectrum brings two seemingly different communities together in this queer, neurodiverse musical comedy about finding independence beyond circumstance.
The presentation is directed by Kate Trammell, with music direction by Nicholas Perez, and performances by Anna Denoya, Schaefer Gutkind, Keith Saunders, Adam B. Shapiro, and Laura Setti.
Littleton, Colorado. Living room of a small household. Matthew is working on a large upscale puzzle. The puzzle is an oil painting of Saturn and its surrounding moons. He's wearing a light blue hoodie and large headphones. Pearl and George enter carrying a tray of cupcakes with 2 and 5 birthday cakes.
What? Oh, it's gonna be fine.
No, but he has his headphones in. It's his quiet time where he can relax before work, and I don't know.
Oh.
Go ahead.
George crosses Matthew, stepping on the puzzle pieces. Matthew yelps and tries to collect his pieces.
You scared me.
Yay! Happy birthday! Are you enjoying that puzzle Grandma gave you?
More or less. The wings are the wrong color. They're typically yellow-brown if you've seen pictures. Anyway, with satin tilted at about 27 degrees. Although some scientists tend to overestimate that. However, the wings here are viewed from the top, while the outer rings are underdeveloped. They were more of a bright white. Not as dull or uninteresting. It's nice, though.
Well, George and I were thinking of taking you out tonight to that pasta place you like after work. It's the Big 2-5.
Order of the century.
That sounds great. What time?
Let's do...
Are you sure there isn't anywhere else you'd like to go? Just want to go to the same place? Never want to do anything different? Just same thing, same puzzle, same house? Year after year after year after year, that's what you want?
Yes.
He goes back to his puzzle.
Matthew,
Yes.
you like math, right?
Yes, I do.
Good. Let's try some. How long have you lived in your mother's house?
25 years.
Uh-huh.
How long has it been since you left high school?
7 years.
Uh-huh. There's something that we would like to discuss, though having you here is always a plus. It's just we were wondering...
Aren't you sick of us?
Sick of you. I love you guys. I'm so grateful that you gave me a loving home to come back to.
We think it's time for you to...
Get out!
And seize the day.
Get out and go your own way.
We love you, dear. You've made it very clear.
And you've been here for too long. Should learn what life's all about. Now go on, son, get out.
I go out to Kroger. Miss Johnson and I have lovely conversations.
Miss Johnson is your boss. You need people your age.
Why though? You two aren't my age. You're some of the best friends I could ask for.
Son, when was the last time you had some fun?
This puzzle was fun.
A party of sorts.
Drank or smoked to do?
George, this puzzle is dubious.
Your puzzle is nice, but try something new.
We know that it's tough, but you are tough too. A big change like this.
Is long past overdue.
Big changes are scary, but eventually I get used to things like your mustache, George. It's pretty unkempt.
We think it's time for you to...
Get out.
And seize the day. Go out exploring and adventure.
Get out and have your own say. You've got the cash and kept it in a stash. The deposit is all yours. It's all yours the minute you shout that you want to get out.
Hey, there's money now? I'm trying to understand. What did I do wrong?
Matthew, sweetie, mommy's got you. Breathe in deeply.
Breathe and let it go.
There's nothing wrong with you. You're mom's special guy. I know that you're scared, but you won't know until you've tried.
What did I do?
Oh, nothing. Nothing, honey. I don't know who put those silly little thoughts in your head, but I'm just getting
Give
right
you
right
to the playful
Did I get him?
No, I still don't understand what I need to do.
To get out and live, you'll need these three things that are hard to find.
For one, a real job.
The one that pays well, then a passion and friends who are kind. I bet no less than 3 weeks you'll need a saddle. You'll be happy and full of success.
That sounds like a lot.
Could you do that for us?
agree. After that, I want him out.
I'll tell him when he gets back.
Honey, he's not a child.
Yeah, but who weighs flour to the perfect amount? Who needs me to drive on the same route? Who brings me joy when there is doubt? Who on my special sprout?
Matthew looks at them, waving goodbye.
And get out.
The door slams with music. So Matthew does go out after work to meet people. To a laundromat, then a pet store. And on the same block, he finds a bar with a rainbow flag on the door. He walks in and is bombarded by the loud music, lights, people talking and pushing him, and even getting a drink proves to be a challenge. As Matthew gets up from his seat to leave, Cynthia bumps into him. She and her friends laugh as they cross the sit. He can't take his eyes off of her sitting with her friends. In a flashback, girl gathers.
Maddie, Miss Rebecca told me you ran out again. Is that true? Maddie, you can't do that. Your school won't.
I walked around for a bit. I'm fine.
But I didn't know where you were. You're 14. You can't.
I'm fine. She embarrassed me.
Embarrassed you?
I was looking at Patrick. She kept saying in front of everyone, I was looking at his forehead and not his eyes, and that was wrong. I don't like eyes. He knows that. She knows that, but kept saying, wrong, wrong, wrong.
She was just trying to be helpful, sweetie. That's her job. You know, sometimes there isn't a right or wrong. Sometimes there's an in-between. It's a place right between your eyebrows. When you're not sure or you're getting nervous, look right there. Look. See? It's that simple.
Real high
There are moments when the world doesn't stop, moments when my brain wants to pop, moments when the noises won't quit, moments when the pieces don't fit, moments when the chaos fills the air. All the schools, all of my classmates would stare, in this place nobody else is aware except for me. Every sight, to someone like you. This isn't hard, it's simple, so try to hold back the tears. You're not 14, you look in between. You can hold your head up, take a breath to quell your fears. She won't be mean if you look in
He taps Cynthia on the shoulder.
Hi, I'm Matthew.
Matthew goes back to the bar the next day and introduces himself to Cynthia and the staff at the bar. To the staff's surprise, Cynthia, who happens to be the owner, hires him. After a week of working there, the staff still have their suspicions. Ashlyn approaches Johnny on his break to discuss.
Hey, can we talk?
I'm not in the mood.
I'm not sure about Matthew.
I don't think Matthew is sure about Matthew.
I mean, why is he here? Is he gay? Is he desperate for work?
Wait. You think that's gay?
I mean,
That the gentleman that thinks that cleanliness is next to godliness?
it's like he's straight, but not closeted, maybe metrosexual.
Oh, I got it. Maybe he enjoys what he's doing, and we can leave him to his business while we let me enjoy my break. Thank you, bye.
Well, I thought you'd maybe look into it.
Into what?
You're kind of an expert at this, at figuring out if, you know.
Okay, just so we're clear, you're asking me, the seemingly resident slut and the only gay man here, to investigate the sexuality of a man who has no interest in me whatsoever?
Yes!
Damn. This is like middle school all over again. I'll do it for $20. Yeah, right. I know, I drive a hard bargain.
After Ashlyn hands him money, Johnny crosses over to Matthew.
Hey, Matt.
Actually, it's Matthew.
Great. I'm just coming to check in.
Check in.
Yeah, making sure that you get the gist of what we're all doing here. That you understand all of your workplace, all the ins and outs, all your tasks, what's expected, so you feel happy, safe, and comfortable.
Matthew's watch beeps.
My apologies, but I have to head back to Kroger. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Johnny blocks the exit.
Hey. Do you understand where you are?
Johnny, may I move?
2nd Avenue. Yeah, this opened in 1975 by the gorgeous and fabulous drag mother Candela Andrews. For nearly 20 years, we have hosted some of the most extravagant parties, events, and raves right here in Littleton. Very big, very loud, very gay. Not many people get to know the history and the legacy that our community has, and you're telling me that you don't care about any of that.
No, I do. I just...
Oh, buddy.
My name's Matthew.
Can tell that you're new to this, and you're really very good at your job. You mop the floors, keep shit in line, you're clearly not a slob. But if you want to work here, know that Tom, Dick, Harry, and Bob, not literally. But anyway, just know that everyone who comes in here is
gay.
Matthew points to a sign that says "Gays Welcome."
Gay. As in seen a lot of things like happy, smart, or bright. I guarantee those aren't the folks that come here every night. I'll just spell it out for you, in case you weren't aware. Okay, girls kiss girls, and guys kiss guys, and Ashlyn doesn't care. But we all constantly observe the 101. To pass the class, you gotta shake your ass and learn to have some fun.
Our history could fill textbooks.
Is it cool if I take notes?
Sure, soon your job will be more than just checking codes.
Johnny hands Matthew a vodka soda as time passes.
All right, Craig, pop quiz time. Who are some famous gay men?
Boy George and David Bowie.
Very good.
Who are some famous gay women?
Allison Bechtel and Ali Sheedy from the Breakfast Club.
Ooh, excellent pop culture reference. Allie is not a real person, though.
And she also kissed a guy in the movie, so it's up for debate. A girl can dream, though.
But she...
Final question. Am I a top or a bottom?
That is... none of my fucking business.
Okay, so you got the basics.
The basics, if you will.
I literally know where you live. Now for lesson 2.
Governing.
All right, okay. This is my friend.
He knows me.
As you can see, she's in a jean jacket, wide-legged pants ensemble. She also has a seatbelt for a belt and various necklaces and bracelets, slowly turning her skin green.
Is this a read?
But say that she has none of that, and instead a blouse with a floral skirt and pearl necklace.
Like my mom.
Exactly.
If she wasn't this and dressed more like how I described, does she seem like the type of person who would just walk into a place like this?
I'm not sure. She might need to know some things. I could show her my book.
I don't think she'd be comfortable with that, Matthew.
Why?
We could welcome anyone who comes in for a drink, but once they read the signs, see the lights,
or smell the stink,
historical shut down bars like this, 'cause they don't understand.
Am I straight?
yes, but it's great that you're here to lend a hand. It's nice that someone straight observes a 101.
Some break a sweat or think that we're a threat
When we just get shit done.
So grab a pair of nylon.
Clothes like these help you fit in.
When you finally come out, good one, take a spin.
Matthew exits a box of clothes and another vodka soda.
So, what do you think?
She's dumb. If terminology, a few vodka sodas, and hours of grilling gay into his school doesn't tell us anything, then he is dumb. And I'd love to see it.
Well, if you really believe that, why aren't we done? He seems really overwhelmed.
Why do you care? You're weirded out by the guy like the rest of us.
Yeah, but he's kind of sweet. Learning all this. He skipped his shift to hang out with us, and this just feels like a lie. I feel bad.
Gross.
Okay, shut up.
Gross, 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 gross.
Matthew comes out in a neon windbreaker and a large full skirt.
Oh, sweet. You have to pop the collar. Here, ma'am.
Johnny crosses and pops the collar.
There you go. Give us a twirl, come on.
And this is gay as well.
It's something.
Matthew takes out his notebook.
So that's good then. I have the style notes here. I couldn't get the gel hair though. It feels weird on my finger.
That's a retro thing. It'll fade out.
Retro? Is that like artsy or maybe fluffy? I'm so behind.
Hey. Put the book down. Listen, we can talk about looks and style all day, but now comes the final lesson. This one's easy.
What is it?
Gratitude.
Johnny points to the bar's rainbow flag.
Red is the life we're brave enough to live. Orange helps us heal, love, laugh, and forgive. Yellow is the sunlight that makes everything clear. Green is for nature, 'cause we've always been here. Indigo is serenity, of which we should enjoy. Silent is the spirit we embody and employ. All these things we've shown you are symbols to keep close. But these 6 are the ones that matter most.
Huh. I never knew there was so much.
And not enough.
Johnny, thank you.
Sure. I mean, how else are you going to learn unless you experience it?
Matthew hugs John.
Oh, I gotta get the handshake.
Matthew crosses and Johnny catches a tear in his eye. Ashlyn crosses to Johnny.
So,
Yeah, I'm gay.
Matthew takes another box.
Now you've got the hang of it, you're practically a pro.
Well, I don't know about that, but all systems are a go.
Every day's a chapter and a new one's just begun.
Everyone could learn a little.
Everyone could learn a little.
Gay 101.
Wait, we have tea rooms?
It's not that kind of tea.
Now you're probably wondering, see a top or a bottom? That's none of your fucking business. All right, here is writer Stephanie O'Carlin.
I guess I
I had the privilege of seeing a reading of the show a few months ago. Really was blown away by the first act. That's all that I saw. Shortly after this, Matthew meets a black trans woman at this gay bar, and they become very good friends. Soon after that, he brings her home to meet his parents, and of course, the shit hits the fan. And I haven't seen Act 2, but I can only imagine what happens. Stephanie, you are an autistic composer, writer, sound designer, and orchestrator. Sometimes you joke to collaborators that you don't speak English as effectively as you speak sound. Growing up, you felt that you couldn't communicate effectively. Most autistic people struggle with subtlety in language and sensory issues such as lights and sound, and because of that, you were selectively mute. When you were at a loss for words, you recoiled, isolating yourself, but listening to the world around you. They weren't conversations necessarily, but everything from the birds chirping to your mother making breakfast downstairs to the orchestra of a musical. From there, you realized that you needed to be around sound and music as much as possible. Tell us more about that.
Well, it's amazing hearing my trauma coming out of the script. First off, I, unlike most autistic people, was diagnosed very young, at around 7 years old, and I just, even though I didn't know, I just kind of knew, because even though my parents didn't tell me, unfortunately, people suck, and they just kind of let you know when something's up, even if you don't really know what's up with that thing. Because I knew I would get overwhelmed with life and stuff like that, but a lot of times when I just couldn't talk to people in general, I would just kind of sit and listen. And even listening to Wunderkind, just now, the way I process when I see shows is I look down and I just kind of try to listen as best as I can. And it's not because I don't want to see the wonderful actors that's on stage. It's more that I just want to make sure that I'm understanding every piece of text and every piece of music that I am hearing, because that's what I connect to the most when I come to listen to musicals and see great live theater. And for me, being raised by, I'm not sure if they would admit it, but a very neurodivergent family, saw that I was like this. And
they're right there.
I love y'all so much. My father in particular, he was a musician himself, and he just showed me this giant music library that I could just explore whenever I wanted to. And for me, me, music and theater in itself is a way to like script life without having like any judgment on the other side, if that makes sense. And it allowed me to understand a part of humanity that wasn't readily accessible for a person like me, unfortunately. And yeah, from there, I really enjoyed obsessing over the most mundane musicals, to be honest. I remember as a kid, everybody was really into like Beauty and the Beast and stuff like that, but I really wanted to know about how the themes in Once on This Island like connected with each other.
Right there.
Yeah. And like how all the gods and goddesses like represented everything and how it was about love and beauty and all that. But yeah, so that's just how I.
Well, Stephanie, you are amazing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Spectrum is the first musical to simultaneously explore and navigate a queer and neurodiverse narrative. What compelled you to tell a story that brings both underrepresented communities together?
Well, around the time my parents diagnosed me at 7, there was another thing at 7 years old I figured out. But nobody told me anything about it, so I was just like, I'll just keep this to myself. And then people told me it was bad, and then I just kept keeping it to myself. And I kind of just took the opportunities as it came, and it came with a lot of men. And if any of them are watching, I'm so sorry. But over a year ago, I decided I just wanted to be more authentic to myself in many ways, because I was masking not only my sexuality, but also just who I was as a person to so many people for so long, because I wasn't open about it at all. And so I went to these queer spaces. One bar in particular, I remember over a year ago, I was so overstimulated, because the thing is, I went to the gay bar knowing I was gay, but forgot about the other thing that makes bars not so great for someone like me. And so I went there to the bar, and I went up, and again, back to the selectively mute thing earlier, I could not mouth my drink. I wanted to say what I wanted to order, but like it was just, nothing was coming out of my mouth. But literally the bartender, not really knowing what was happening, but just being so kind, just came up to me and said, "Hon, it's okay, you're safe here." And me thinking that she thought I was a baby gay, because that's the only way that made sense, I said, "Hon, I've known since I was 7, can I please have a rum and coke?" Love it. And like, when I later processed what she said, I realized that there was nothing wrong with me. And I really asked myself that question as to why I held that in and why I thought that for a long time. And again, it was just about my environment. It was about the people around me and the people that I was with. And so it really just drove me to research more about these two communities that I'm in, to find these stories, because we really always have been here and we've always wanted to connect in some way.
Good, great answer. People who write book music and lyrics, a rum and coke is quite the drink that you would need.
I don't know what I'm doing, Joe. I think I did that very clear.
I think you're doing it quite well. And I will say this, what's it like, you are alone as the writer, but you have some incredible collaborators like Nicholas Perez and your director, Kate Trammell. What is your collaborative process like, and why did you choose these collaborators?
I really just wanted people that just could tell me when I failed. Because here's the thing, when I set out to first write this story, I realized that a lot of my trauma came from the fact that a lot of people just kind of assumed I was a child because they didn't have a lot of information about me, and they didn't tell me when I was doing things wrong and doing things. So I just like people that treat me like an adult with respect and wellness. And particularly, I find that that's very helpful when I have a fellow autistic person in the room to help me out and understand where I'm coming from. And yeah, they're just, there are really no stories with us without us, and that's really what I set out to do.
Yeah, representation is important, and before we ask you the last question, I think maybe we should actually ask your director this next question, Kate Trammell.
But
what I think is important for us to know is you are both part of the neurodiverse community. What does it mean to be leading a story that is about, for, and by you?
This question was not in the script. Okay.
and it's for both of you, and take your time. We got plenty of drinks waiting for us.
No one is waiting. No one's like.
No rum and coke, but
you know, it's okay.
Well, I said this in rehearsal yesterday, and we were having these conversations of like why this place in the story. Well, I was an autistic kid who didn't know anything about gay culture growing up in Texas. I learned by befriending gay people because we all love doing theater. So we also went to clubs, but that happened after the theater. But yeah, it was the first community that I was able to relate to and connect to because it wasn't too long ago that we were all oppressed in similar ways. So there are lots of overlaps, but there's a lot of supportive communities that have supported me, both from autism and LGBTQ. So this is an amazing show to not only represent who I am, but other people who've been supportive of us.
And for me, I've known these people my entire life, both neurodivergent, queer and neurodivergent, I want to say. A majority of neurodivergent people do identify as part of the LGBTQ community. Back in 2021, I think it was like 68% that I found identify in this community. And we are all over. We are in every fan base. We are in every crevice of this particular city. And I just wanted to pay back to them in some way, because these were the kids in social work when I was trying to figure out how to shake somebody's hand. These were the people in the bar that were helping me out when I was clearly having a difficult time. And these were the people who, at my lowest over a year ago, really just helped me be myself and find who I was when I really didn't know who I was. And I still don't really know who I am, but you know what? I'm 27. It's not, I have time last I checked. Particularly with an autistic director, just makes me feel more important to make this as accessible as it can be. Accessibility is such like a monolith in that it can't necessarily be for everyone, but there was just something so great about being in a room with queer neurodivergent people working on this story, and also just being in a room with queer neurodivergent people talking about the things that we deal with every day. And so that's what implores me to get this show out to the biggest audience possible, because we've been hurting for a long time, and we absolutely deserve to laugh at a bottom joke. We absolutely deserve it.
And I love what you said about these communities, but I also want to note that neurodiversity, disability, and queerness are not a monolith. There are spectrums. See what I did there? There are spectrums of these communities as well, but I think at the end of the day, we're stronger together, and I think that's one of the most important things.
These have been some incredible answers. I want to know, what's next for Spectrum? Like, what can we expect to see next week's show?
All right, so we are planning a full reading in the fall, but the best way to keep on top of all of our news is to follow us on Instagram, Spectrum New Musical, and yeah.
Well, also we have one other thing.
And guess what? We actually cannot announce it.
Oh!
But I will say. Because our team members over there are sweating.
Oh, okay,
I will say this: the show is going to have another major opportunity through New York Theater Barn and another organization. It's big news. It's going to be very exciting, and it will be announced very soon when it can be.
And if you want to keep us with us professionally to help us with said developmental related things, because that would be great, spectrumanewmusical@gmail.com. That is spectrumanewmusical@gmail.com. Reach us out for fun.
show for tonight. New York Theater Barn is this is my favorite part. New York Theater Barn is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and if you enjoyed what you saw tonight, you can donate by text. We take thousands, millions, and 10 millions. The number to give is 631-710-NYTV. That's 631-710-6982. And make sure you vote for Kelly or for Justin.
Or you can make a donation on our website at nytheaterbarn.org/give. We have a small but dedicated team who make a lot happen with very little, and always deliver high-quality work, like you saw here today.
Since gratitude is the attitude, I wanted to thank my co-host, Harmony Harris. Managing Director and Director Extraordinaire, Kate Trammell. Tonight's incredible support staff who are on our board of directors, Matt Schicker and Sheila Ray. Sheila Ray is also the lyricist co-book writer of I Married Wyatt Earp, which became the Belle of Two, song that we developed, and she was also in the original Broadway company, A Fiddler on the Roof, and Applause. And she's almost 80, which she told me tonight. And she looks great, and she can still take the stairs. Remember that thing Elaine Stritch said about the stairs and the prostitute? Anyway. Watch the special. It's fun. Artistic Associate Pals Mox, and our incredible staff and board of directors, Inclusive Communication Services, and the 52nd Street Project, and you for being here. Thank you for supporting live theater and the development of original musicals.
And can we also thank Joe for being here?
It's my associate. We're about to go to Phoenix to do a big show. Me, Harmony, and Louis Villabon. Did I pick the right associate or what? Yeah! Good night.
Good night.